Next question.
So, we don't believe in baptism, and say a family member wants us to baptize their son.
Now you mean water baptism, right? Because it's right to believe in baptism because we do need a baptism. We have a baptism, water baptism, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. It's not required for today.
If we were to accept to be godparents or whatever, is it kind of like we don't have faith? That, like we're not believing. It's going against us not believing in water baptism because we're doing it for them.
I see what you're saying. You're doing it out of love for someone else. God knows that. You're not trust. You understand the truth that water baptism is not required. For example,
it's like we're condoning their. Yeah.
Well, if you feel that way, then you just you ask the people would they mind sitting down with you for a study from God's Word if you want to go do that. For example, my wife and I just got an email back from Minnesota. Her brother's wife, so our sister-in-law, they have a baby. They're going to christen the baby. You know, a christening, get her water baptized. Thank God we weren't there because we got invited. Because I would have to go there and it would be hard for me. It depends on where you're at. I personally would I like to ask a question. I say, so why are you doing this? Because it's not required by God's Word. And they just say because it's their tradition. Okay, well, fine. You got to kind of be sensitive about those things. If your conscience won't allow you to do it because you know the truth that water baptism is not the issue today, then I would say if you had that rapport with the person, talk to them about it.
It does kind of put you in a cool position too, though, because if you're the child's godparents, you can be like, well, hey, you chose me to be a godfather or godmother for this child, and I want to teach them about the Bible. Is that cool? And that gives you a good opening.
Yeah. So yeah,
because the way the church, you know how they have the rules and they're so strict about going through their rules. They're Catholic, so I mean, pretty much. Really, I'm doing it, and then I'm doing it just because my brother-in-law for my brother and for my little niece, and then pretty much, I mean, when it comes to that, it's just being there for them. It's like being their second parents, and then I mean, they're my family, and it's like not to say, okay, no,
and like I said, it's where your conscience is before God. He knows, He knows you're doing it out of love for them. But if you get a chance, like Ryan said, it is an opening. If you get a chance to share the truth, I would, if you get that chance, if you feel comfortable with telling them that, because most people just go through tradition.
They're Catholic, tradition and life for a long time, and they're stuck to, they're stuck to the same religion.
You know how I would handle that if I was you would be this. Okay, they're Catholic, they're religious Catholic. If they're willing to open the Bible with you, maybe get the recording if you need the verses. What we just went over today earlier was about the cross. About the gospel. Roman Catholicism puts it, like you mentioned, on the rituals, the rites, the communion, the body, the blood, all that, all the rules and regulations to be right with God, right? I would talk to them about their eternal soul and show them how works are not a part of that. That's where I would start. You got to start with the simple, clear gospel of grace and show them that their works is not only not getting them right with God, it's actually frustrating God's grace. Galatians 2 says, I do not frustrate the grace of God, for if righteousness come by the law, performing, then Christ is dead in vain. I can show someone, or you can show someone that their religion is actually frustrating God. Ephesians 2 says, not of works, lest any man should boast. If you're going to do it by works, you're boasting. He says in Romans 4, to him that worketh is the reward not reckoned of grace, but of debt. But to him that worketh not, but believeth on him that justifieth the ungodly, his faith is counted for righteousness. Titus 3:5, not by works of righteousness which we have done. I would just keep giving them what Paul says is not of works. That's where you start. Because you got to get them out of that Roman Catholicism thinking that they're doing works to please God, to get the grace of God. No, that you have to show them they're sinners before an angry God.